The Adelaide Hills are renowned for Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But at David Bowley's vineyard, the grapes look like raisins.
My first thought was I was just totally broken.
He lost 95% of his vines in the bushfire that tore through the region in December.
Is there any hope for these vines? I really doubt it. And as a form of closure, as a form of right, let's move on from this, I'm feeling quite strongly that we have to replant this vineyard.
David spent the past decade building his business, buying grapes from other growers to make wine before purchasing his own vineyard in 2018.
It's been a huge investment of time, of backbreaking work by me and by my team, and I feel so heartbroken for them as well because they've spent weeks and months out here and it's come to nothing. The total damage bill's well in excess of $1 million, and we will have somewhere around 30% of that will be covered by insurance, so huge shortfall.
3 days before the fire, David took this video of his grapevines looking healthy and ripening well ahead of harvest. Now they're a blackened mess.
Yeah, it makes you feel pretty sad when you think about how long the recovery is. If we replant these vines later in 2020, we'll see our first harvest off of them for wine that we're going to make for ourselves in 2025 or 26.
Beyond the wine industry, the sheep, cattle, dairy and forestry sectors are all counting the cost of the bushfires, along with fruit, vegetable and honey producers.
We are thinking that it is too early to really understand the pain that will be experienced by the agriculture sector and by farmers from these fires because the fire season hasn't ended yet. Victoria's Black Saturday bushfire was estimated to cost the economy about $4.4 billion. And I mean, it's likely that these fires that we're experiencing at the moment will surpass that figure.
The Federal Agriculture Department says more than 10 million hectares of land have been affected by fire. 115,000 hectares of plantation forests are within the bushfire zone. More than 80,000 head of livestock have been lost across South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales. The National Farmers Federation says with a hotter, dry future predicted, more needs to be done to reduce the threat posed by overgrown vegetation.
Look, I think there needs to be a really detailed and comprehensive conversation on land management. We need to work comprehensively with state and Commonwealth governments to look at national parks, fuel loading, how we can better manage the land.
It's got to be very hard. It's 2+ years before we're sort of up and running again.
At Borrag Station near Talbingo on the edge of the Snowy Mountains, farm manager Mick Ryan's hard at work on repairs. It's about a month since he lost 20 cattle in the bushfires, as well as 37 kilometres of fencing and 3 sheds full of hay, forcing him to get rid of stock he can't feed.
Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of hay. But we've sold off 100+ cows, 180 odd weaners. We've lost all our feed, so we've basically relied on donated stuff since the fire.
Mick fears he may lose even more. Some of the heifers may have burnt udders, which means they won't be able to feed a calf.
We'll on-sell them, abattoirs or what. You've just got to be realistic about it, because if they're not going to rear a calf, well, they're pointless having them. You've just got to go on.
Mick estimates the damage to the property is worth more than $1 million. The federal government's announced bushfire-affected farmers will be eligible for a $75,000 grant.
At the moment, loss of income isn't covered. We are having ongoing discussion with the government. We absolutely need immediate mental health and health services on the ground right now, but we know this is going to take a long time to recover from.
Back in South Australia, David Bowley's winery was fortunately spared from fire. He shares the site with 5 other businesses.
So here's our Adelaide Hills Pinot Noir. If there is a silver lining, it's that our winery is at a different location to the vineyard. The wind change that claimed us is the same one that saved the winery.
David says the loss of his vineyard will slash production by half. He'll have to source extra grapes from other growers, but with the bushfire tightening supply, he expects prices to be high.
The wine business is extremely competitive. There's over 3,000 wineries in Australia alone, so we can put our prices up. It's just sort of how much we're willing to take that risk.
Economists say with farmers still struggling with drought, there will be a flow-on effect at the supermarket.
We should start to see more significant price rises in the fresh produce sector for fruit, vegetables, meat, because we know that those particular segments have been impacted by the drought and now by the bushfires.
Australian agriculture will come through this. We've done it before, we'll do it again.
The grieving process is over, you know, we've got to just put it behind us and get on with it.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.